Banana. Okay.
When I first went back to play God of War 1, I was expecting a very arcadey experience. You have a sort of pseudo 3D view and almost a beat 'em up style. At the time, PS2 was really just branching out the 3D mechanics that were mostly seen in collectathon style games like Jak and Daxter, Banjo-Kazooie, and Sly Cooper. At some point, though, the genre switched to being much stronger on action, and then to be much more mature with games like Ratchet and Clank adding guns. But nothing says mature like a shirtless Kratos killing his own family.
The gods demand sacrifice.
In that instant, the glory he had reveled in turned to horror.
By the gods, what have I become?
And of course, you can't be a mature adult without responsibility. If you were under 12 years old when this game came out, well, throw away your pacifiers and grow some balls, because the video game world is throwing at you what it takes to get by in the real world, and that's a whole lot of tits and a whole lot of blood. Realistically, God of War was an experiment that ended up solidifying that games could be for basically any audience. This led to a boom in sales that allowed for the PS2 to be the highest-selling video game console, so its place in gaming history is a staple. But does the style of game that it is make it worthwhile to even play today? Time for a retrospect. Oh! God of War somehow ties in a Spartan who lost a huge battle and his family into a adrenaline-induced, raged-out, hard-on, maniacal god assassin. Now the game is named after the god of war Ares, who apparently is hard of hearing and never comes to speak to Kratos when he calls out to him.
Ares! Ares!
Bro, hop off my dick.
They try to make it like Kratos is the god of war himself, but this early installment proves that Kratos is just a whiny-ass bitch.
You! I must get across! Release the lever! Extend the bridge!
No!
Who are you?
Monster!
Wait!
Kratos had experienced it firsthand.
The swift hand of rejection.
Anyway, realistically, game companies at this time did not know for a fact that they would even get a sequel, so it was a weird balance of putting everything out there that you could prove that the game was fun and innovative, but leaving out the story to make room for it to potentially bomb. Let's see how the gameplay of God of War 1 stacks up. This one is hella choppy. Now, I grew up in the PS2 era in middle school. These kinds of games were my bread and butter. But it has been a while, and as an adult, I've gone on more of a collecting spree buying these old-ass games than actually playing a lot of them. At first, I was excited to see fast-paced gameplay that didn't seem to hold my hand too much. It's kind of like a brawler where you need to check the menus for fighting combos, but you can basically button smash and do them anyway, just to get by. I had to increase the brightness on this because even in upscale 1080p, there's still a lot of squinting going on, probably because of the dark underworld settings. Once you get to the desert though, it feels a little more immersive and worth going past those little nitpicks. It was nice to see more of a fast-paced gameplay that didn't sit me through too many tutorials. Even for a game that is the flagship title, It's refreshing to see a game reflect to us that we just want action and to figure out mostly for ourselves. Yes, there's the typical Mario Party style button mashing that will turn your fingers into knuckles and your knuckles into kneecaps. But that's just typical of the PlayStation, to throw those in, make us feel like we're doing something. On a side tangent, doing those as part of the missions where you have to lift a car in Spider-Man is pretty boring and getting old really fast. Video game companies should really do away with the constant tapping of the same button mechanic. On the other hand, the puzzles are actually rewarding if you do finish them, but it takes away from the flow of the action. Some people praise the game for its use of puzzles, and I feel the same way about it for the reboot. But there's just one problem. This is a fucking action game. God of War, not God of Intuition. He's not a genius. He's a warmonger. How about a puzzle that has nothing to do with actually figuring out something in your brain and just throwing enemies against the wall? Literally, the music stops and we get stuck sitting around a dungeon for a while before we can feel like we can move on. Sometimes you're stuck there for beyond 5 minutes, sometimes 10. It seriously drives a stake through the progress. That's like playing Apex Legends or any Battle Royale, really. And in the middle of all the adrenaline pumping madness, you get jumped into a room and you need to use your brain for a while before being allowed to hit the battlefield again. We're spoiled Americans. I don't think you can put gore, blood, and violence on the cover and then hit them with a puzzle. Most games I start with, I begin with on hard, especially ones I've either played before or the genre is very familiar to me. This is the Halo mindset for me. Challenge myself, even if it's painful, to get to Legendary. But I gotta tell you, fuck that. Not worth it. I started this game on hard, and the intensity of how quickly my life bar went down made it seem like I didn't even have one at all. I was getting my ass rocked. Honestly, couldn't believe it. And don't even get me started on the rope swing you have to get across. Oh my god. They take your ass out immediately on there, and the death screen will be burned into your cerebellum. Anything that has to do with climbing in this game, and I just take a huge breath, because you're about to get knocked so many times that you'd rather actually get decked by your high school football bully. I'm talking about the spinny spikes on the cylinder in the underworld. What the shit is this? Honestly, did they design it to be a one-hit knockdown? Who thinks this is fun? You honestly think somebody is going to get that on the first try? If they do, that's complete fucking luck. But almost everyone's going down here and going to have to redo it way more times than they even want to. This is the kind of game that you don't want to spend more 5 minutes on platforming, and that seems to happen a lot. A big suggestion here is to go for normal. Unless you're planning on playing this game for the next 2 months and you're able to dodge and block perfectly, I wouldn't go for it. The 3D environment in this game is just not smooth enough to hold down a reactive combat system. Like most adolescent boys playing this game, you just want to slay. And that you will once you power up, but the beginning of the game in Athens is no joke on hard. You won't have enough power to feel like a god in the beginning, so there's not much you can do besides get your ass beat. Even once you have a lot of the levels upgrade, it literally takes minutes just to upgrade a skill. Seriously, watch how slow this goes. Are you shitting me? How about just a single button? Wow, it's so thematic with the blood. No, who cares? That's just another interruption to the action. And it's just another thing that holds back the potential of this game. I was honestly excited to play this game. It was one of the few that I hadn't rented at Blockbuster when it came out. Not because it was mature. My parents had me swearing in the 2nd grade, pretty much. But because I just liked other genres and felt like I'd be taking a gamble by wasting a weekend on it. My hunch wasn't far off, actually, because I feel like by the end of Pandora's Temple, I just wanted this shit to be over. The sad thing is, I could have finished the game in a weekend as a kid in Connecticut with nothing else to do, but as an adult in Colorado, this took a month, and it really hurt me on the inside, feeling like I wasted all that time. Coming from an adult's perspective, I really don't think this is memorable enough, or even retains the thrill I felt in the beginning when I first started playing it. It does get repetitive. Maybe that's because games now have skill trees and more immersive with their development and progress as you level up. Or maybe it's because Kratos' bitching at Ares just got really unbearable.
Wretched beast! I am his no longer. Is not safe while I walk the earth.
I really can't see myself going back to this. Now, I'm sure God of War 2 and the third remake have vast improvements, but as I said, if you're looking for action and hate being stalled out for it in favor of story, this is going to annoy you. At least the combat in the reboot feels solid and that you're making an impact. Also, where are the huge bosses in this game? There's literally two. One with the Hydra in the beginning, and then the last fight where you're like the same size as Ares, basically. I thought this was the game that made giant boss battles a thing. That must have been God of War 2. But anyway, a nice glimpse into the past, but from a Crispy's Collections point of view, me and my younger self both say this game is absolutely charred.
A permanent reminder of Kratos'
Hey, I know what you're saying, but the platforming could have been so much better. Oh, hey, how you doing? Didn't see you guys there. Mr. Crispy here. Just want to take a quick second to go over the ranking system in our videos. Now we got crisp, of course, which is perfect texture. That's what we're looking for. Right? Now we got fried, which is very good, delicious, and it makes you want to come back for more. Not absolutely perfect, though. We have broiled, which is kind of weird, right? A little bit of weird taste to it. It's good, though. Very good. And then we have charred, which is dark and rough around the edges. And there's something, it could have been better. A little more effort could have been put into it. And then we have burnt, of course, which is just pure unedible. Now, we wanted to give a quick guideline to this because we know that our gaming appetites are all over the place these days, especially with retro games. We love to break it down for you, and it's a lot of fun for us to do so. We'd love to show you a little bit more videos, so stay tuned to our channel. Please like and subscribe. We'll hit you guys with some more videos, retro reviews, movies, shenanigans with Buzz and I. We're really excited to share some more content with you guys. As always, thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you next time. And don't forget, in the meantime, keep it crispy. Right?